Welcome back for episode 2 of Box Office History. And of course, this is on my secondary channel, The Goku Report. And this time in Box Office History, we are looking at a series I'm not as fond of, with the exception of the first film. This is the Box Office History of the Resident Evil live action films, excluding the animated. So let's get to it. Hopefully I don't have any copyright issues with the music. So with that said, in the background you hear I chose the extended edition of The Outsider by, of course, A Perfect Circle. So with that said, first up, the first film, the original Resident Evil. Of course, rated R. It was released in 2002 with a budget of $33 million. In total domestic box office, it would end up doing $40,119,709. Then, worldwide box office, it would do $102,984,862. So it made almost $103 million on a $33 million budget, so obviously that justified making a sequel. Next, we come to the one I have mixed feelings on when it started going down, and that is released in 2004, rated R, of course, Resident Evil Apocalypse, based loosely on the story of course, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, with a budget of $45 million. Domestically, it would do also, domestic would make up 39.6% of its box office revenue, with $51,201,453. Worldwide, it would end up grossing $129,342,769. Now we move on to the third film in the series, in my opinion, pretty much neck and neck for being my least favorite. Released in 2007, Resident Evil Extinction, with budget unknown, not listed. It did domestically $50,648,679. Domestic would make up 34.3%, and worldwide it would end up grossing $147,717,833. So it had another decent increase by almost $20 million from the previous. Next, which you hear the music from, for me personally, this is probably my second favorite or third place of the films, and that is Resident Evil Afterlife, released in 2010 with a budget of $60 million. Domestically, only 20% of its budget would come from the US, with $60,128,566. And worldwide, it would end up doing just over $300 million, making it arguably the second most successful worldwide box office out of the franchise. And that's because of the 3D gimmick. This was when the 3D gimmick was in full swing. And to be fair, I saw Afterlife in 3D, and maybe that's one of the reasons I liked it more, because I actually enjoyed the gimmick thing with the 3D effects. I thought was well executed. Other than that, that's about it. Because, to be fair though, even if it's not even really close to the actual game adaptation I still appreciate Wesker for what he was. Coming in at next, second to last film, released in 2012, with a budget of $65 million, making it the most expensive at least known. That being Resident Evil Retribution, which domestic would only make up 17.6% of its total revenue. It made $42,345,531 domestically, $240,159,255 globally. So just over 240, about a 60 million drop from Afterlife. Then we would have 2016, 5 years ago, the final film in the series. In my opinion, not good at all. Um, Domestically would only make up 8.6%. So look at that. Um, the very first Resident Evil movie, 39.90%. So basically 40% domestic. However, by the last film, domestic was only at 8.6%. That's quite a drop domestic percentage. So it would do $26,830,068 domestically. Worldwide box office, it would do $312,242,626. So making the final chapter, as it's called, the most successful on overall revenue, plus the fact it cost 25 million less than the previous film to also make, budget-wise. Afterlife was arguably the second most successful, making just 12 million less, but it cost 20 million more to make. So its return, it made a pretty good profit for Sony. Even if it never was a huge box office, more mid-range. This series, I would say, has become a very polarizing live-action adaptation series. There are people who love all the films, mostly people who don't consider themselves really fans of the games. As an old school fan that's been playing the games for well over 20 years now, yeah, it's not good, in my opinion. The gimmick I liked in Afterlife, and the soundtrack is great in Afterlife. Apocalypse is 50-50 with me. Resident Evil 1, in my opinion, is the only solid film of the franchise, which, of course, I reviewed on my main channel already. So check that out if you're curious, or look on my playlist here, because I did bring it over in my movie review playlist on this channel as well. Hopefully, you enjoyed the music in the background from A Perfect Circle. With that said, I'll see y'all next time. Same YouTube channel. Stay tuned. For the next one I will be doing will be on the Middle Earth films. So the Lord of the Rings trilogy and the Hobbit films. So I'll see y'all next time. And enjoy them. Hopefully you enjoy the music choice, and hopefully I don't have copyright issues. I'll see you next time.